What home is complete without a customized bar set? With an Australian theme, of course. Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for Bland Designs, and this is vlog number 116 for Monday, May the 20th, 2019. And happy Victoria Day to all my fellow Canadians. Victoria Day is our long weekend, and as I said last week, it's our unofficial start of summer. Summer really doesn't start, according to the calendar, until about June the 21st. But we're Canadians. We're getting cabin fever. We want to get out there. So, happy Victoria Day. Oh, and by the way, it's called Victoria Day because it marks Queen Victoria's birthday back when we were a colony of the British Empire. Okay, so what have I been up to? Let me clear my throat for just a second. Okay, I'm trying to tech up my sewing room. I am going to try a bit of an experiment this week. I want to concentrate some of my efforts on producing Idiot Quilter programs, and I do want, because some people have asked me to show a little bit more detailed tutorials on how certain things that I am making are made. In order to do that, though, I need to have a camera that shows my sewing machine as I sew on it, and also a camera that shows my cutting table, me, that kind of thing. And that's not such a big problem. The big problem is switching between the two devices seamlessly. Well, I think I may have that figured out. I have a second camera. I've rigged up a way of switching between my two cameras. It's not the most elegant of ways to do it, but it works right now. At least I think it does. There are other ways, better ways. I've looked into them, and eventually I may invest in a little electronic switcher kind of thing that allows me to do it in a very elegant way. But for now, this will work. So my plan is that maybe later today I'm going to try and produce an Idiot Quilter showing something I'm going to show you right in a moment that I'm working on. And it'll be a little bit more detailed. It'll be more of me showing you a technique as opposed to just describing the technique. That's what I'm hoping for. So look for that video in the Idiot Quilter section later this week. And I have been sewing, and the thing that I'm going to do on the Idiot Quilter is show you how I made this block. This is called a pineapple block. I'm taking a class starting next week, 1 week from today, where we're making a quilt using this design. Now, the quilt is actually called Pretty Woman, and that's because the lady who's doing it, the instructor, is focusing on doing some fussy cutting in the center square, and she found some fabric that had, I think, some faces of ladies on it. And her quilt is very, very nice, but a little bit too feminine for my taste. So I'm going with the Stonehenge collection from their Solstice collection. I think most of these are from the Solstice collection. I do love Northcott's Stonehenge. I love the colors and the designs. And this is what my blocks are going to look like. And I think it'll be very dramatic when I have 20 of these blocks all together. But to make this is fairly complicated. Well, it can be, except that we have this little magic tool. And this is what the instructor wants us to get for the class. And it's called the Pineapple Trim Tool by Creative Grids. And it makes getting all these things lined up and squared up very, very easy. So that's what I'm going to focus my tutorial in the Idiot Quilter on, is how to use this ruler to create this block. And I was a little perturbed at first when I signed up for the class. Classes are expensive. You have your materials and everything like that. Anybody who thinks they can make a quilt for like $10 is crazy, because you can't. And if you want to make a really decent quilt, it's going to cost you several hundred. It's just a basic fact of this hobby. It is an expensive hobby, but all hobbies are. And this ruler, I looked it up on Amazon because they had it ordered at the store, but I was afraid that, well, one, it wasn't going to come in on time, and two, I kind of want it to work ahead. I don't like to go into a class cold turkey. I like to do a little prep work beforehand. Like I like to get my fabrics picked out, my fabrics cut, and start experimenting with whatever technique we might be taught in the class. So to do that, I needed this ruler. So on Amazon, it was $55 Canadian. I almost ordered it. Walter talked me out of it. He said, why don't you wait to see how much it's going to cost when they get it in the store? Now, I pretty much figured it would cost more than on Amazon. Well, I was surprised. I did hold off. I did not order it. It did come into the store. It was $37. So about $20 less than what it was being sold on Amazon. So let that be a lesson. We talked a little bit about this on Stephen Walter Live yesterday. Know your prices. Not everything on Amazon is going to be necessarily cheaper. So, as I said, I'm going to feature this in my next Idiot Quilter and with my new camera set up and the whole bit, and we'll see how that goes. So watch for that later this week. We've been invited to a birthday party celebration, barbecue next Sunday, and for a friend of ours. And they didn't mention anything about gifts or anything. And, well, when you get to our age, you know, what kind of gift can you get us? Metal Musil? I don't know. But they had recently been on a cruise that went to part of Australia, and the birthday boy is very much into commercial airliners. He used to work for one that no longer exists many, many years ago, and I do know that they have a room in their house that he kind of themed with airplane pictures and things like that. So I thought I'd make him a bar set. You know, some coasters and a little bar mat, because they do have a bar in their house with the combined theme of Australia and flying. So I made these in my embroidery machine. They are coasters in the shape of wine glasses, but I embroidered onto them a commercial airline. No name for that. Something a little different, bright colors, reminiscent of Australia fabrics, the indigenous fabrics, and I did make them a bar mat from some of my Australian fabrics. So this design is a little bit unusual because I saw it on Missouri Star Quilt, and it was meant to be a quilt, and it was not meant to look like this, but I thought I'd play around with it a little bit, and so I put in a couple of native Australian animals in the center of it, and it's quilted. And it's a little bar mat. And here's the back of it. The back's kind of nice too. So I thought, you know, just a little something. I don't like to go empty-handed to celebrations, even though people may say no gifts. I think it's still nice to take a little something. So I thought I'd take them something like this. They're not going to get a second one, that's for sure. No one's going to repeat this, so he's not going to have to worry about duplicate gifts. Okay, so that's what I've been up to. And that takes us to the YouTube channel of the week. Now, this one it's for a select crowd who, in terms of humor, one, you have to know the Game of Thrones and been following it. And I don't think there's too many people out there that don't follow the Game of Thrones. But of course, you know, I guess the last episode aired last night. We haven't seen it yet. We'll watch it tonight probably. But there's a YouTube channel that's actually associated with a comedy channel called Funny or Die, but they have a subsection in there called Gay of Thrones. Yes, the name says it all, Gay of Thrones. Basically, this guy plays a gay hairdresser, and he does a running commentary about the latest episode of Game of Thrones, and he shows little excerpts, and it is very funny. However, if you don't watch Game of Thrones, you won't get the humor in it. And also, the humor is very, well, what you might call campy as well. And if you're not familiar with that term, you'll have to look it up because I can't really explain it myself. But anyways, check it out. Gay of Thrones. This week's YouTube channel of the week is Funny or Die. Actually, it's a subsection of this one that caught my eye. Everybody is in love with the series Game of Thrones, of course, and this is its final few episodes left right now before the season ends forever. And
there is a parody show. Well, it's not really a parody show on YouTube. It's more or less a comic commentary on the events of each episode. And I think this particular parody has been running for, well, since the inception of Game of Thrones. It is called Gay of Thrones. And yes, it is playing on the idea of the stereotypes from the gay world. The host of this show is actually a hairdresser. Well, he plays a hairdresser. And he goes through the episodes after they've aired and talks about everything from their costumes to the action to, well, just about everything. And it's quite hilarious. So if you're a Game of Thrones lover, then you might want to check out Gay of Thrones on the YouTube channel called Funny or Die. I hope you don't die.
So the listing for both, for that and for Stephen and Walter Live, are below. We almost got through a whole production on Stephen and Walter Live yesterday without freezing up, and just in the last 2 minutes, we froze up. I still don't know why. I have no idea. Anyways, it makes me angry when I think about it. I'm not going to think about it. Moving on. What's pissing me off this week? Not a lot. Not a lot that I can mention right now, so I think we can skip over that because I really don't have anything that's standing out as pissing me off this week. So it was a good week. Let's go on then to new products. Okay, I showed you the pineapple trim tool, which is the ruler that I just got this week, but finally it arrived. The foil quill. This is by We Are Memory Keepers. And what this is, and there's plenty of YouTube videos out there that you can go and check out, so I don't think I need to do a demonstration of this. I got this. It's an expensive toy. It plugs into my Cricut. It'll also work with silhouettes, Brother Scan & Cuts, things like that. And essentially what it is a heat tool. Let me get one out. The starter kit comes with 3 different sizes of tips. This goes into your machine. In the case of the Cricut, you can plug the USB, which is the power source for heating this up because it heats up, into the side of the Cricut machine. Otherwise, you have to plug it into a battery pack, or if you've got your computer or something close by, you plug it into that. It heats up, and then you can foil, heat transfer foil onto virtually anything. And I showed you last week that I bought a couple of USB drives that have various images on it and wording. That goes along with this set, although you can use any of the images that you may have that you already use, that you cut on your electronic cutting machine, and you can foil them. So my very first effort was this card, and it comes with a couple of rolls of, well, 3 different colors, silver, gold, and rose gold of foil. So I just grabbed one of those, and I did this very quick little card here. As you can see, I had a little problem. This was my problem. It was human error. It was not machine error. I kind of cut off the card because I didn't position it properly on my mat to get it just below the fold. So I did another one. And this one came out a little better. I had my measurements a little bit more accurate. I was just grabbing random images to test this out. And then I decided to do like a happy birthday card. I used silver. Maybe I shouldn't have used silver on white. But trying to get the glare off, it does a fairly good job. I did buy packets of foil as well. The foil's not that expensive for it. The tool itself is, though. It's well over $100 for the starter kit. You can get a less expensive kit that has only one of these. I think it's just the fine point. I'm not sure. There's a fine point, a medium point, and a wide point. I've only played with the fine point to do those cards. As I said, I haven't played with it a lot. Seems to be very easy to use. And yeah, it's kind of fun. How much will I use it? Not really sure. Why did I get it then? You know me. There it was. They were showing it at Creativation, and that's how long I've had it on order for. This since January. It took almost 6 months to get it. But we'll see. I don't make a lot of cards, but I'm sure I can use this for other applications. And I have a couple of wild ideas in my head for this that I want to experiment with, and I'll let you know how that turns out once I get to that. You know, there's so many creative things to do and so little time, I find. Whoever said that anybody who says they're bored when they're retired just doesn't know how to do retirement. I'm never bored. Okay, so that's the new thing I got this week. So, book reviews. Okay, first of all, let me say right off the bat, you can't get this book. Sorry. It came from my stash. I'm making you aware of it in case you happen to see this particular book or you happen to see something like that. Just, you know, to add to your arsenal of possible ideas for things you may already have laying around in your stash, like stickers. You remember a few years ago, well, more than a few years ago now, the sticker craze in scrapbooking was tremendous. You get stickers, and you can still get stickers. There's lots and lots of stickers, and I'm sure people are still using stickers in their scrapbooking and card making techniques. I had quite a collection of stickers because there was a Sandy Lion sticker outlet not far from me at one time. They don't exist anymore. I think Sandy Lion got bought out by another company. They were a very popular sticker manufacturer for a very long time. I used to go to the outlet and the prices were great and I'd stock up. Now, that was when I was teaching school too, so I used stickers in school, and I didn't teach elementary. It doesn't matter how old you are, you still love a sticker. You really do, okay? The kids used to love it. My 16, 17-year-olds that I was teaching, they loved the stickers, and so we used them. And then I came across this book, and this is by Memory Makers, which does not exist anymore, and not to be confused with We Are Memory Keepers, which is the manufacturer of the foil quill and other products. This was another company, Memory Makers. They put out a lot of really good magazine-style books on different techniques and things, and this was one of them, Creative Sticker Ideas. And as in all of their publications, it's full of actual pictures and ideas of how to use stickers. And there is more to stickers than just sticking stickers on a page. You can use them in different techniques. You can even use them in mixed media. You can use them in resist techniques. Haven't done that in quite a long time. That's something to go and revisit. You can use them like a mask kind of a thing when you're, you know, sort of a reverse stencil technique on pages for backgrounds and things like that. So, as I said, I went searching for this book, knowing that this company no longer exists. Went on Amazon, no luck whatsoever. I didn't really check eBay out because I don't go on eBay. I haven't in many, many years. I don't use it at all, so I never checked it out. Maybe it's a possibility of getting that on eBay. You might find this in a used bookstore. You might find it in a yard sale, whatever. But if you do see a book about using stickers, I would suggest you pick it up if you've got a lot of stickers and you're running out of ideas, because this does give you some ideas. Not only that, but forget about the sticker part and just look at the layouts. Because these books show actual scrapbooking pages and card layouts. And although they're focused on one product, you get other ideas by looking at these other pages or other layouts that are put into these kind of magazines. So anything to help get over a creative block, I think, is a good idea. Okay, so there's no link to that one because I couldn't find it. Sorry, maybe next week I'll do better. I'll try to pull up a book from my stash that you can still get. Okay, so what's that take us to? Yes, works in progress. Okay, last week I showed you the Essential 6x6 album by iCraft. This week I'm starting probably about a 3-part series about creating what they call another iCraft product, and they call it the Explosion Box. There it is. Very pretty. So in my first part, I show you how to assemble it. Now this particular kit comes with, I think, 3 boxes that you can make, black, white, and craft as well. There are some tricks to it because it didn't come with any instructions, but I explained that in the video. So here's this week's, the first part of this series, where I actually show you how to assemble the basic box.
So I'm going to start a new project, and this is by iCraft again, part of my ongoing series of using their kits to create various albums and things like that. This one's a little different. It's not an album. It's called an explosion box. Now, I have made something like this before in the past, but I didn't really use a kit. So I'm curious to see how this will work out. Now, inside this particular package, there is actually, you can make 3 of these exploding boxes, one in craft, one in black, and one in white. I'm going to concentrate on doing one in the craft. The reason being is, for video purposes, I think this will show up better on the camera as I make it. Now, this particular kit did not come with any instructions. We do have a diagram on the back, but this shows you 4 different pieces. So, let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We actually have 5 pieces. So, oh, I see, this one down here says 2 pieces. So let's lay it out. In fact, these 2 look the same except there's different measurements. Okay, so let's see if we can identify our pieces here. So we have one that looks something like this. Is this the right size? Let's see, it's supposed to be 1 inch here. That's 1.5 inches, and that's 1.5 inches. So this one is this piece, and there's supposed to be 2 of them. And this is the next one, is it? I think. Let's just measure. Yeah. So those are this. Then we have a piece that looks like this. And this could be either this piece. No, this only has 1 tab, so it must be this one. Yeah. Okay. Then we have this piece, and it goes something, so that must be this piece. It's 1 inch, yep. And then we have this piece, and that must be that one. Okay, so all the pieces are here, but I'm not sure how to put these together. Now, there are score lines on here, so I guess the first thing we should do is probably fold the pieces up, so according to those score lines. So I'm not sure which way, whether it matters or not, but I am going to score all of these pieces, and we'll see if that gives us a clue as to how this should go together. I have a feeling I am going to have to consult their YouTube channel, and hopefully they show this one on there, because otherwise I might be a little bit screwed. Okay, so I'm not going to make you sit through this as I fold all these pieces. I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so I went to the iCraft YouTube channel and I watched their short little video about how to put this together. It looks relatively easy, and I think I understand how to do it now, but I may have to go back to my computer while I'm doing this just to double check things. So these 3 pieces need to be assembled, and basically 2 of these are the inside drawer. Let me grab the cover of this. So you see in here there's like an inside drawer. These diagrams don't show you much, but in here, so 2 of these larger ones, these 2, go on the inside, and then this is the top. So let's see here what we can do. Alright, I'm just going to take this one, and I've already done some pre-folding here. Probably should give it all a better scoring, or better creasing, just to make sure everything goes together well. So what I'll do is I will show you on camera putting one of these 2 pieces together because they're both the same, and then I'll put the other one, or I'll do one on camera, that's what I'm trying to say, and I'll do the other one off camera so you're not sitting here watching this, but I think you'll get the idea from this. So I'm going to use double-sided tape, and this is actually what she used. She used a combination of glue and double-sided tape. And let's see, I'd have to put, this is going to go up here, so okay, I think Alright, so put a little bit of tape on each of these pieces here first. Not sure exactly where to place the tape. I'm putting it towards the top of these tabs. Okay, now let's see if that gets folded in. That'll go. So I guess I should have a piece along here. And here. Don't know if I really needed to put it on these tabs. It might be a problem. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold this down now. Let's see if that goes up. Hope I'm on camera. This is kind of awkward in one way. So I guess I need a piece of tape there and a piece of tape here. I don't think I needed to put any tape on these little tabs in here, so I'm just going to leave those without taking off the backing on those. I am going to need my little pricky tool here, so let's see. Okay, so we take this one off first. I find this very, very awkward. Okay, I am all thumbs on this today. Let's see, take it one side at a time. Put that down there, stick that in there. I know you probably can't see what I'm doing, because I don't know what I'm doing. Alright. Okay, that works. So I've got that together in there. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Okay, I didn't get that one quite. Oh yeah, I guess I did. No, I didn't. I have a little problem here. Yes, Houston, I have a problem here. Okay, this is maybe where glue would be a little better. So let's get out the Gorilla Glue. She used double-sided tape. Just hold that in there for a minute. So essentially what we're doing, I'm building a little box. Okay. Then these flaps go inside over top of that. Let's just take our bone folder. Go over that. Oops. This side is not adhering very well. Oh, crap. Okay. This is a struggle. This is a struggle. Now maybe not if you know, oh, I'm going to rip that. Okay, we're just going to leave that for a second. Ah, crap. Okay, I'll be back in a minute when I figure this out. I don't want you watching me struggling here. Okay, I went back and watched her video, and I think I see how she's doing it. I was going about it in a very awkward way. Now here's the first one. I did get it together, but what I've done is I've prepared this one the way she has. And she has a strip of tape on the inside of these flaps, and on the outside of the little one she's got a strip of tape. And what she does is she starts from one side, and she peels off her tape, and she puts the corner together. lines up, sticks it down, and then she goes to the next corner. Oops, I'm having trouble getting my tape off. Okay, there we go. And she folds that one in. So there you go. And she just goes around. You know, there's nothing saying I can't bend these things out of my way. To start with. Okay, so now again, I don't know if this would be easier if you used a wet glue. It would give you wiggle room, that's for sure. Okay, that one's in. Maybe just a question of getting used to this process, because this is going together a lot easier. That lined up. Not sure if I'm in shot. There we go. So I have those, and then what she does is on each of these flaps, she just peels off her protective coating on her tape and just drops it in. And similarly, but yeah, this is a lot easier than what I was trying to do. So live and learn. That's why I'm making this video, so you can avoid the pitfalls that I am having with these. And the last flap. And we'll just use our bone folder, give everything a good press down. Okay, so you can see there is a difference between the two. This one is kind of warped a little bit. I think if I kind of press in the corners a little bit, like sort of do a little bit of my own reshaping, they'll be fine. Okay, so we've got our two little drawers. That's what these are. Now this piece is the top of the box. So I'm going to go off and do that, and then I'll come back and I'm going to put these two pieces together, the interior of the box. I'll show you how that works in a moment. So for the inside of the box, which is the exploding part of it, I've gone back and I've reviewed the video from iCraft, and what she has done is she's taken these two pieces and she's put double-sided tape on all of these little flaps, and this one attaches to this. So that's what she did first. So that's what I'm going to do. Just going to attach this piece. I think it might be easier to line it up if I do it upside. I don't know, maybe it's not. Maybe it's easier this way. Yeah, I think it's easier this way. Okay, just lining up the two pieces along their crease lines. Oops, took a little tape with me there. And then what she did was she peeled off her backing tape. She does this all in fast motion as well, and she just folds those over. She does the same on the opposite side. I'm kind of glad that the kit comes with 3 of these in it, because one of them is practice. This is practice, this one. So then we go down here and we peel these off, fold them over. And the last ones. Oops, that one went a little crooked on me. Didn't have it quite scored correctly. I have a little problem here. Okay, let me put that one down first. Okay, let's see if I can get this. Well, it's not me. It's them. Looks like they're a little crooked. Yeah. No, it's me. Okay. Then she took these end pieces. Let's take the tape off both ends and just fold them over. Kind of reminds me of like a coin envelope. And then, okay, she folded these along the score line. Okay, this is where you really, really need to have a bone folder. Because these are really stiff. Okay, so it all goes like this. Now, she attaches the two bigger drawers, and I think one gets, now you see this right here I'm not happy about. When I folded this, it looked like in her video that she had extra score lines on here, but I don't think she did. Okay, this is going to bother me. But I think I can, when I cover it, I'll cover that up. Yeah, okay. So, I think one of these went down here, and another one went sort of up here. So I'm just going to review the video to make sure I get the placement correct. Okay, so we need to put some score tape on these two pieces. And she was using a really wide double-sided tape, so I think I'll just use two pieces on here. Same with this one. Okay, now a little difficult, I just press it from the inside. My tape's there. And we'll put one aside for a second. We're going to take this and we take off the tape. Okay, and then she stuck this to the bottom of one of these flaps. She lines it up close to the edge. There we go. And so it sits like that. And then she put one on this flap, but she puts this one, where's my tape, and the top of there. So let's see. Take the tape off, or the protective coating that is, and let's see if we can get this lined up. Okay, how am I doing? I'm a little crooked. Now, I have a feeling this is where, because I'm using the craft cardstock for this one, I think a little glue would be better on these because I have a feeling they might peel off. And then what happens is, that should go in there, like that. And then we have our lid, and it should fit over top of that, and it does. And there we have our cute little box. And when you take the lid off, it explodes. Just like that. Okay. Some frustration here making the first one. As I said, there's three. There's a black, there's a white, and there's the craft. And now that I have figured out how to put that together, an instruction sheet would have been handy, but thank goodness she has a YouTube video. Now it's time to decorate it. Now, I will be doing that in the next sequence, but what I'm thinking right now in advance is I think it might be easier to decorate these pieces before you start gluing other pieces onto it. I don't know. I'll have to experiment. Mind you, yeah, okay, I'm just thinking out loud here. I'll have to think about this, how I'm going to do this, and that'll be in the next sequence.
Okay, so next week we'll look at putting background papers onto the various sections of the box. Okay, that takes us to the events in the past week. Well, my mother's fine. Got a call, though, from a dental service that goes into nursing homes and basically cleans and checks out the residents' teeth. Now, my mother has a disgusting mouth, and I don't mean because of what comes out of it. I mean her teeth. Her teeth are very, very bad. She doesn't have any insurance to cover that. She also has a fear of dentists as well, and I can relate to that because although I go every 9 months for a checkup and a cleaning, mainly because I don't want to have a mouth like my mother, and my father's were very bad too, so I get over my fear. I go, but I still have a fear. Now, modern dentistry today is painless to a point, but nevertheless, I'm sure and my mother, we are not the only people that have a paranoia about going to the dentist. But it is one of those things one needs to do. But going to a dentist is very expensive too. So this dental service called me up, and I guess they make the rounds of all the nursing homes every 3 months. And any of the residents there that wish to have their teeth cleaned and a checkup and any other work they may want to have done can have that done when they come in. So I asked them what the cost was. Well, to have my mother's teeth cleaned and a checkup, it's a package. It was about $284. Well, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. I told them she does not have insurance. So that's pretty good. So I said, well, I'd speak to my mother about it and get back to them. And I talked to my mother, and she said, well, she had been thinking about having that done. And my mother knows her teeth are bad. And I said to her, well, okay, Mom, I'll make you the appointment, and we'll go from there. Now, I did talk to the people and said, okay, so I'm sure that the dentist will recommend, if my mother should have any other kind of work. That's where the cost would probably come in. But having said that, I think it would be a good thing for them to do some major work for my mother. Because, they're always telling you that, having a healthy mouth, healthy teeth and that is good. Because bad teeth and that can affect your immune system, and you can have a lot of problems with it. She does have the money. If it costs $10,000 to, do her upright, yeah, I look after finances. I would say yes, it's worth it, and she can afford it. The one thing that I fear is her fear of the dentist. It'd be major work. I don't know if they would say, put in dentures, do that kind of thing. I don't know if they'd go for implants because, implants would cost more than $10,000. Be more like $40,000 or $50,000. No, that's a bit extreme. Plus, I don't want my mother to have to go through anything that's going to be extremely stressful, possibly painful, all that kind of stuff. She doesn't need that kind of stress. But on the other hand, we're talking about her general health here. And although her general health is pretty good, she's not getting any younger. So, as I said, teeth are important. So we'll see what they recommend, what all that is. We'll see how my mother feels about all this after she's had a cleaning. God, I'm glad I'm not a dentist. I don't know how they do it. No wonder they're so expensive. I would not want to be working around in somebody else's mouth. No. There are certain jobs in this world that I would never do. Dentist is one. Being a nurse is another. Or a doctor. I just don't want to touch anything that's close to a bodily fluid of any sort. Ick. So that's what's new with my mom. And now this was the long weekend, as I said at the beginning of the vlog. And traditionally, the last few years, we've been going down to a little town, I mentioned this last week, for Art in the Park, a little town called Warkworth, about an hour and a half or hour and 15 minutes away from us. And although it's a little Mickey Mouse, it's kind of nice to go down there. And I sort of had the day planned. If the weather was nice, we were going to go there and then possibly go to the cheese factory that's nearby and then into another little town where there's a great fabric shop in there and do a little shopping and that kind of thing. Well, Saturday morning came and I decided to go onto the internet and see if, just to make sure that Art in the Park was happening. It wasn't. No listing for it whatsoever for this year. So I guess they figured it wasn't worth it anymore. So they weren't doing it. So there was no sense driving an hour and 15 minutes down to this area because really there's nothing much in that area to see to start with. So there we were. What are we going to do this weekend? Now, of course, being retired, every weekend's a long weekend, right? We can do whatever we want whenever we want. But, you still got that idea from the days of when you worked that this is a long weekend, so you should do something, right? So we hemmed and hawed about, well, what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you feel like doing? I don't know. What do you feel like doing? Okay, that went on for about an hour. And so finally we broke down and decided to go to a huge flea market that's in a couple of towns over from us. In fact, it's one that's been going for years and years and years. We've been there many times in the past. Haven't been there recently. But it's all indoors. It's a huge industrial building with mostly junk. Well, not mostly, all of it's junk. There's got to be at least 50 different vendors selling cell phone cases, iPad cases, and they'll fix your cell phone and stuff like that. I don't know how they make any money when there's so many of them in this one space. There's, crappy clothing, gaudy jewelry, certain services, come into your home and put in new windows, whatever. Some starving artist stuff. You know why they're starving when you see the art. That kind of stuff. It's basically garbage. But sometimes it's fun to root through the garbage, So that's what we did. We walked around there. They also have an antique market in one section of this. I enjoyed those. I like looking at things. I never buy anything because, good God, who wants some old crap? I've got a house full of old crap. I don't need any more of it. And besides, I wouldn't know what's an antique from what's a piece of crap, basically. So anyways, we did that. And that was it. Came back home. I worked on this quilt that I was showing you earlier, the quilt blocks, had dinner and watched YouTube videos. And went to bed. Wow, that was Saturday. Sunday, bit of a repeat. Before we did the live, we decided to go to another flea market. Now, this flea market we've been to even more times. It's much smaller. It's half indoors, half outdoors. And it truly is junk. It is just a collection of garbage. But we went anyways. And we decided to get French fries from the French fry truck, from the chip truck. And I don't know why. French fries always taste better when they come from one of those trucks. So we got those, sat down at the picnic table, and it decided we were just about finished our fries. Big cloud came over top and just let go. It just came down, cats and dogs, only for a few minutes, but it was enough to get somewhat wet. We ran off to the car, and that was about it. Stopped at the grocery store to get some stir-fry vegetables because Walter decided that we were having stir-fry for dinner. And, did our live, drank some more wine, Walter cooked dinner, watched some YouTube, went to bed. Wasn't that exciting? So it was a far cry from going to Art in the Park, but what do you do? Okay, so what's coming up this week then? Well, a couple events. On Saturday, my first cousin is coming for a visit with his little girl. I think I mentioned my first cousin back, quite a few vlogs ago, that I reconnected with him. It's funny. He's my uncle passed away quite a few years ago now. My uncle was a wonderful man, but he had some internal demons, and needless to say, he drank way too much, and his relationship with his son, my cousin, was very strained for many, many years. My uncle passed away, And Scott has been looking after things with all of that. But I have not been in touch with him for, well, the last time I saw him, and briefly, was at my uncle's funeral. And that was in 2005, I think. So we're talking 14 years ago. And I really didn't speak to him much. He kind of slipped in at the last minute and slipped out. I mean, because, well, at the time I thought it was just very strange. But then I got this, what was my father's and my grandfather's, so his uncle and his grandfather, we share the same grandfather. My father and my grandfather were both members of the Masonic Temple, and I think I mentioned this before. And long story short, I had what they call their aprons that they wear to the meetings. And these are significantly symbolic to family members. Well, to anybody but me. I never was a Mason, but I thought that maybe Scott had been a Mason, and he had been, and is still, I think, associated. So I reached out to the Masonic Lodge that he's a member of. That's how I got his email address and everything like that, and I contacted him, and we made arrangements, and I took the aprons over to him, and we spent a really nice afternoon with him and his daughter. I didn't know he had a daughter at the time. She's a cute little thing. She's just 5 years old, basically, smart as a whip, and, well, probably because she's from my family. Go figure, right? Anyways, I digress. And we had nice lunch at his place and caught up on family business from that side of the family, and basically found out some things that we needed to correct, because he was under the impression that my side of the family basically had blackballed him. We had not. But that was also our parents, okay? That had nothing to do with us, the kids, okay? So, we've been in contact, have stayed in contact, and he and his daughter are coming out here next Saturday for lunch. And my sister's coming, and her husband, my brother-in-law, and the whole bit. And so it's like, you know, our generation of the family, and I do not have a big family. There's not many of us around. So we're just, you know, going to get together. So I have to figure out what we're going to serve for lunch, and I got to figure out what to do about a 5-year-old. How to keep them amused. Now you're going to say, you've got a craft room full of stuff. Yeah, I do. But do I want a 5-year-old playing with it? I don't know. We'll see what that is. I guess I can get a coloring book and some crayons or something like that. I don't really know. But we'll figure it out. My sister will probably have a better idea than that. I'll have to ask her about that kind of thing. So we're looking forward to that visit. And on the Sunday, the next day, Sunday, we have the barbecue for the fellow's birthday party that we're going to. So that'll be fun too. We haven't seen them in a while. And there's going to be other people there that I'm sure we haven't seen for a while. So that'll be nice as well. And next Friday, I'm starting another one of my sewing classes, but this one is an embroidery class, and we're making what they call a frame wallet. Now, I talked about this before. It's kind of expensive. It's basically a lady's clutch-like wallet. The frame part is, the metal part at the top, and you open it up. But it's all done in a process called in the hoop. You use your embroidery machine to put it all together, including the zipper and the frame, I guess, and that kind of stuff. So it's an expensive little gadget that I'm making. However, I figure, well, I'll learn a new technique, a new thing, and maybe I can adapt it to other projects as well. Or for that matter, I can make ladies' wallets. I don't know. Start a market for ladies' wallets. So that's what's all coming up, and that's about it. Walter and I right now are in the process of thinking that maybe we need to do some revamping of Stephen and Walter Live. We don't know what, but we're getting a little bit tired of the format we've been using for over a year. And we're trying to think of ideas that will spruce it up that people might enjoy. And right now, I don't have any ideas. Besides just changing where we do them. Instead of doing them from the kitchen, we can do them from the living room or something like that. Yeah, we'll have to see. If if you are a regular viewer of Stephen Walter Live, if you've got some suggestions of things that you might want us to do on Stephen and Walter Live that you might find more interesting, let us know, because we'd like to mix it up a little bit. That's why I'm going to concentrate a little bit more on the Idiot Quilter as well. I want to make it a little bit more than just a talking head kind of thing. I want to show you things. And I'm starting to have the confidence in my sewing ability that I think I can start showing you some simple things anyways. So, yeah. Okay. So that's what's coming up. That's what has happened. And I hope you have a good week. And we'll see you next Monday and hopefully on Stephen and Walter Live next Sunday. Bye for now. Oh, little PS here. I just thought about it. We're supposed to be going to this barbecue in around 3 or 4 o'clock next Sunday afternoon. 4 o'clock's when we do Stephen and Walter Live. We're going to have to think about this. Stephen and Walter Live may be on at a new time next week. I'll let you know. Bye-bye.